In the past, when female passed away, the family of the female deceased will want to come and check whether was this deceased being tortured to death.
Hello everyone, I'm Sengkuttuvan. I'm from the interreligious organization of the Hindu faith.
Hi everyone, I'm Benjamin Tan from the Taoist Federation Singapore.
And I think between both of us, a lot of funeral rites and rituals that we can discuss today. So maybe we can start off, what are the funeral rituals and why are they performed?
Funerary practice are actually based on, first based on religion, and then they will go down to the dialect group. From the first day of the encoffining until the ritual day whereby we will invite our gods. Then after that we will invite the spirit of the deceased back. There will be chanting of the scriptures of salvation. Normally people will burn a paper house for the spirit of the deceased to live in, and then on the next day you'll be the sending of the funeral. So for different dialect groups like the Hokkien, the Cantonese, the Teochew, all these practices will actually differ. Normally when a priest go down, they will actually get the names of the whole family. So families will come. So they will actually join the prayer.
How many days does it take, this whole process?
So normally funeral will go for 3 days, 5 days, then the maximum 7 days.
It's very different in our community in the sense that we do it within 24 hours if possible. From the time you're born until you die, it keeps on aging and aging and aging. At the same time, it's also decaying. Therefore, something which is decaying, we say that we don't pay much importance to it, so therefore we finish the rites as quickly as possible. It is the rites that comes after the actual funeral itself. That is where the importance is.
Can you actually share with me like how the course of the funeral rites are like?
Oh yes, it is just that from the time, like exactly from the time of death itself, we immediately inform all the kins, and that is normal in any form. First thing, we treat the body as with reverence. Strictly speaking, we don't do much of embellishment or decoration. But today, just for the sake of wanting, they decorate the body. What we see them as is a funeral is normally a closure. And when we pack it up together with families, traditions and community, then it becomes a little bit embellished with rituals and rites. And because the Hindu community itself is so large, they take on a different flavor, but it has got some fundamental notes to it, how it is to be conducted. They have a special ceremony of reciting some verses. We call them the mantras. Or if you don't know, we just leave it to the people who are doing the caretaking processes to run the whole process, and the body is brought out from the house. Now there is a form of ritual where the body is leaving from, and in the process of going to the place where it is being either cremated or buried. Once the body arrives, there's some rituals there to be done.
The part of the Taoist funeral, so a lot of these Chinese cultures practices have been injected into it. But most of the ritual part actually comes from scriptures, from inviting the gods, inviting the spirit, and then from chanting of the scriptures and sending off the spirits. That's actually what was being taught in the scriptures.
So it is mentioned very clearly in the scriptures.
What is needed to do.
All right. I see. And that is also very ritual-centric also. Is that what you're saying? The priest comes in during the time at the funeral ground itself, when the actual body has to be put into the fire or be buried. At that portion of self, he does some form of appeasement to let the soul go into better life. So we try to put in the prayers in place so that whatever sin, please take it with a lot of pardon, so that he will enjoy the next course of life.
The day before the cremation, so priests will be chanting scriptures, pardoning the sins. On the last day, when we cremate the body, there will be chanting as well by the priest to lead the spirits to salvation. Yeah, so it's the same.
It's almost similar, yes. What about, when we are calling in all the family, there must be a purpose, not just for a networking. Is there a necessity for them to be there, or are they have to participate in this funeral rites?
A lot of these practices has been injected with the belief of Confucianism, the act of filial piety. So we are there to join the prayer the act of respect, and for the love and care they should have showered on us when they were leaving.
No, I like to just throw in a spanner to this because this happens to our side also. What happens if there are some family disputes?
So one of the biggest taboo or superstition, you may call it, is that if you actually create a ruckus during the funeral, that means you'll be very unlucky for you. Me being a priest, so I've seen a lot of families which are not on good terms. But during the ritual day, they will just sit there, follow the ritual. They won't actually come and find problem with the other party, but they'll just join the ritual quietly.
No, that's really very nice because at least you have a pontiff and they respect the pontiff's words and all that. You see, in your case, you have seen the part where they come together despite the fact they're facing all opposite directions. But there are people where they just do not hold that for a very long time. We call it the bad karma because you have to attend this thing because you are the kin of the family.
Right,
so you have to come together, at least do the funeral because over death, everything becomes neutral.
Right.
We don't hold any negatives, neither any positives. You are responsible to be there at least, let alone do the right things. The person who lights a funeral pyre must be of a male issue. Now that one is got a very strong emphasis on the scriptures, especially in cremation. Unless they don't have a male issue in the family, then the scriptures allow for other than the male to do it. But if there is a son, he has to do it. Right. If he doesn't do it, the punitive measures are the same as yours.
Okay, so when the male pass away, normally it will be the son, because the son will be the head of the family to actually arrange a whole funeral and things like that. But when a female passes away, the most important thing on the course is actually to invite the family of the female. It's a traditional practice, a culture, to give a yes for the funeral to proceed. And why is it so? Because in the past, when female passed away, the family of the female deceased will want to come and check whether was this deceased being tortured to death, because there's a lot of those family dispute whereby one man can marry many different women and things like that. A lot of the Chinese are actually migrants from China. Pretty much the priest's role is the same. What the priest does and across different dialect groups. But what really differs is the practices during the funeral by different dialect groups. More on the cultural and heritage side, you actually see a difference in the things they do and the things they pray. A lot of things in Singapore has been rojak up. You always see like the Teochew drum and gongs. And then for Hokkien people like us, sometimes when they want to add more colors to the funeral, they actually bring this group together to perform, and this performance has a little bit of the religious aspect and things like that.
So you must take into consideration that culture and tradition morphs a long time. What we see in India itself, and we go outside India to far off countries, things are different because the community is different. Now traditions have changed quite a bit because, as I say, we don't have the facility of cremating the body by a river, a water place, right? So we have to do it in a crematorium now. So these adaptations has to move along with time. Culture is a bit richer. For example, on the 10th day, they will provide a feast. A Tamil will do it differently, a Malayali will do it differently, a Telugu will do it differently. I would have dosa or something, they would have chapati. So this is where the culture comes into the play. Except for certain things, certain grains are important. A Hindu funeral, I can guarantee you that different part of the world you'll see different show altogether. But eventually what happens, it'll come to the cremation.
Which is a ritual heavy.
Correct, that is a portion which is scripted.
I'm very happy to actually learn from you today. We hope that more of this conversation can come out on different practices and things like that. Yeah.
Same thing, Ben. It was a good opportunity that I met up with you today because there are a lot of blank spaces that I filled up now. I've got a better picture. If any of you guys got any questions or queries, please list them below. Thank you for your time. Bye. Bye.